It's the SFL Nights it's the SFL Nights with A.J Striker, with A.J Striker. It's the SFL Nights it's the SFL Nights with A.J Striker, with A.J Striker. Ashley Jackson about the action. SFL news, come and join with interaction. Whatever happens, happens. Yeah, you will leave with satisfaction. Yeah, tell your team and tell your captain. Come and tune in, new episodes weekly. You can tune in from your room in afternoons, and when the moon hits, it's unique.
What is up, SFL Nation? Welcome back to SFL Nights with A.J Striker. Thank you so much for joining me today or tonight or whenever you decided to hit that play button or turn on that radio dial. I really appreciate it, y'all. Look at who I have here. Some fantastic faces, all of which have been on my show at some point. And I'm going to go through all of them. These are all my co-hosts. We're going to just go over all of the games tonight. We're going to be doing Week 7 pick'ems together. We're also going to be talking about the divisions and everybody's team, where we think we are, where we think we should be, all of that good stuff. So my first guest, and I want to welcome Mr. Chris Comisac. He is the owner of, he is the head coach, head coach of the Queen City Corsairs. And you're a fullback too, right?
Yeah, I'm the fullback. Yep.
All right. Welcome back to the show, Mr. Undefeated.
Thank you. Second time. Last time we were here, a bunch of us from the front office were on your show, and we were talking about how good we were going to be.
Yeah, I remember that conversation.
Yeah. And I'm pretty sure you said that we weren't going to be very good in week.
That was week 3. And yes, I did say that, so I knew this was coming. So yes,
you guys were pretty darn good that week. You were. We were only a field goal better, man, and that you know. But thanks for having me back.
We'll get you.
Yep.
Next up, I have another great guest, Mr. Jacob Bouvette, the owner of the Portland Fleet that has been doing absolutely amazing this season. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, Ashley. How are you?
Doing absolutely fantastic. Thank you for being here. It's been a while, man.
It has. I've only been on 2 shows, yours and Nelson's show, Inside the League. So it's always a pleasure to come on back here.
Hey, man, y'all know y'all got a spot. Just tell me if you want to be on. I got you. You can help me go over these games. You know it. All right?
All right.
Next up, I have Mr. Justin Reside of the Las Vegas Fury. Don't ask what I was getting ready to say. How you doing, Justin?
Doing all right.
Good man. How you enjoying the season so far?
Yes, enjoying it good. It's like my minor league progressions and then starting for Las Vegas. So
awesome sauce. All right, and next up I have Mr. T. Roy Gaines, fullback and GM of the Baltimore Vultures. How are you?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
Doing pretty good. It's the same with that red and black on. Lord have mercy.
Yep. Gotta represent.
Clearly. And last but not least, my owner, Hall of Famer, strong safety, and head coach and owner and everything else for Arizona, Mr. Eddie Gage. How you doing?
What up, though, Ashley? How you doing?
Chilling, man. It's a good day. It's a beautiful sunny day. I know some of y'all ain't going through that sunny. I pray and hope that sunny weather comes your way. But Eddie, it's always great to have you on, brother.
For sure.
All right, gentlemen. Again, thank you for the time. We had some fantastic games that went on for week 6. People are definitely starting to separate themselves from the pack. And I'm really happy to see that things are being more competitive. What are y'all thoughts on that?
That's how it's supposed to be in this league. Competitive. Can't sleep.
Exactly. Can't sleep. Can't sit down.
Seriously. If you do, then you're just going to fall by the wayside. But my picks, let me pull these up right quick. So T-Roy and I did some pick'ems last week, and I'm just curious to see how well I did. So I chose Denver, Florida, Atlanta, Carolina, Baltimore, Portland, Mexico City, Lone Star, AZ, Queen City, LA, and Vancouver. So looks like I didn't do too bad this week, but
Pretty good picks.
yeah, paying attention and not just actually thinking about what's going on the field and who they're playing against. That
Right.
kind of works wonders. But first game we're going to discuss tonight, guys, is the Las Vegas Fury taking on the Denver Night Wings. And Vegas won 20-16 with my favorite Vice Wars. Every time I see it, I just get so excited. I have nothing to do with any one of those teams, but I love it, just the same. Vegas had 275 yards passing, 71 yards rushing for 346 yards total. Their time of possession was 22 minutes, 17 seconds with 2 turnovers. Denver had 245 yards passing, 26 yards rushing, 271 yards total. Their time possession was 21 minutes, 18 seconds with 3 mistakes. Player of the game was Joseph Green, quarterback, with 27 completions out of 40 attempts, 275 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a quarterback rating of 82.8. So, Justin, what do you think was the recipe to the success for Las Vegas?
I think it's probably because of Tom Blitzkrieg with his interceptions, and he had, if I check my numbers correct, if I statted them right, 7. No, that's 7. Where did cut? Damn, an interception with 3 pat downs, and then those 3 pat downs, those were important, very important pat downs because you got good receivers down there in Denver with Keel and Mosley and Copeland Jr., the rookie.
Mm-hmm.
And then also Bryce battling Riley Quintero. So it was important to get those pat downs because you can't let those guys get touchdowns to, because if Vegas didn't pat down balls, Denver would have won the game.
Absolutely. And Riley Quintero, you guys stopped Riley Quintero, which is also another dangerous person. We know all about that, don't we, Eddie?
I'm not going to touch on that one.
Next up, the Florida Storm took on the Houston Hyenas, and the Storm won 41-31. The Storm had 349 yards passing, 90 yards rushing, 439 yards total. Their time possession was 22 minutes, 45 seconds with 1 mistake. The Houston Hyenas had 419 yards passing, 104 yards rushing for 523 yards total. Their time possession was 20 minutes, 23 seconds with 3 turnovers. Player of the game was Ron Cochran, quarterback, with 29 completions out of 44 attempts, 349 yards, 3 touchdowns, and a quarterback rating of 103.3. So with this game, it looks like Houston had the passing yardage, they had the running, they just couldn't capitalize off of anything, especially with those 3 turnovers. Does anybody else want to kind of add to this?
Max Paul, owner of the Florida Storm, has 3 championships under his belt. He's been doing it for a long time. He brought in an OC to help take some of that press off of his plate and give him less responsibilities, but he's bringing him along under his wings nicely. He didn't just give him the job. He's kind of tutored him along the way. And as long as he's involved with the coaching of that team, nothing surprises me that he does, because it's hard to prepare for him. Because what he does that I noticed is he may play, with a traditional 4-2 nickel one week, and the next week, introduce a 3-3, or he might come out like he did against Mexico City, and at that time defeated an undefeated Mexico City team with a 3-4 defense, which is something he hasn't shown all season. So you just never know what you're going to get when you face that guy, and it makes it very hard to play him for.
Gotcha. Anyone else?
Yeah, I didn't watch the game, Ashley, but I was getting updates from some of the guys in our front office, and it sounded like Florida got out early and was pretty well ahead in controlling the game. And then Houston made a comeback at the tail end there, and they just came up short. I second what Eddie said. Florida is a nightmare to try to game plan for. And we played them in the first year that I was at Fort Worth, and we thought they were going to do one thing, and they did something entirely different. And it was an ugly game for us because we we just guessed wrong.
Yeah, they'll put it on you if you let them.
Yeah.
Telling you. Speaking of putting it on you, the Queen City Corsairs beat the Tulsa Desperados 24-14. Queen City had 224 yards passing, 212 yards rushing, 436 yards total. Their time of possession was 33 minutes and 6 seconds with no mistakes. Tulsa had 108 yards passing, 67 yards rushing, 175 yards total. Their time of possession, if I'm reading this correctly, was only 10 minutes and 35 seconds with 3 turnovers.
Yep.
Player of the game was Jet Zero, halfback, with 38 attempts, 191 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 16 reception yards. So, Chris, what is the recipe for your success?
Well, it isn't kick return coverage. You said we had no mistakes. We had 2 mistakes in that game. We kicked to Gabriel Manning every freaking time we scored, and he took 2 back for touchdowns. Other than that, recipe of success is we keep the ball and we don't give it to you, and when you do have it, we take it away from you. Jet had a great game. The offense put up 24 points. It was a great game. The real star of that game, though, was the defense. We had 2 interceptions in the end zone and then a 3rd interception in the red zone, I believe, inside the 10-yard line. All those took points away from Tulsa. And if they had been able to do anything with those possessions, it would have been a much closer game than it appears. I mean, we pretty much held the ball most of the game. So, they didn't do enough with the 10, 11 minutes that they got the ball. And, it's not how a lot of teams win games. I think Mexico City was doing that very well before they went on their little skid. But, that's how we're trying to do it in Queen City.
I see it. Anybody else want to add lib to that? Or
I do. Anytime you can keep Gabriel Manning to 4 receptions and 33 yards, that right there is a recipe for a win. And when you can make the other quarterback just throw picks, and that's exactly what the Queen City did is they made JQ throw 3 interceptions, and when you can get a quarterback to throw 3 interceptions or more, you should definitely win that particular game.
Yeah, our front 4 did a really nice job getting some pressure on him and making some bad throws, and particularly that second interception that he threw was to absolutely nowhere in the end zone, and our defensive back just happened to be close enough to catch it. But yeah, I think the 3rd interception he threw, he was under a lot of pressure too, and he threw it right into the middle of the field. And when you do that, bad things happen.
Eddie, did you want to add something?
That Jet Zero needs to be tested for digital PEDs effective immediately. That is all.
Yeah.
Nuts.
We tried to take a little bit of the load off of him. I think I carried the ball 3 times, so he was a little more rested this game.
There you go. You help.
Yeah.
The Sioux Falls Sparrows took on the Arizona Scorpions, and the Scorpions won 34-13. The Sparrows had 349 yards passing, 110 yards rushing, 459 yards total. Their time of possession was 26 minutes, 31 seconds with 5 mistakes. Arizona had 293 yards passing, 126 yards rushing, 419 yards total. Time of possession was 15 minutes, 24 seconds with only 1 mistake. Now, Eddie, before you start, I want to say that this was a great game to watch, and we did exactly what I said we would need to do in order to win this game, which was to create turnovers and to capitalize off of them. It was when you have, like you said, 5 turnovers, quarterback either throwing the interceptions or you're causing fumbles, things like that. Anything that could take points away from the other team should guarantee a win. Doesn't work out always, but at least for us it did. Eddie, what are your thoughts?
I agree with that. I mean, like I was telling you and the team in the locker room in a week, the key for us was getting DJ going because lately we've been too one-dimensional on offense, putting too much pressure on yourself to delivering, particularly the ball downfield. And, you know, once we got DJ going, I was pretty confident with the way the game was going to go out, considering their game plan. They did throw a couple of wrinkles in there, which I did not anticipate, but and it kind of did some good things for them. I don't want to go too much into detail with it, but they did some things I didn't participate. Yeah, that I didn't anticipate. And, you know, but other than that, you know, I was very proud of the way we played and to see us get some turnovers because lately we haven't been getting too many of them. So to see us get some turnovers, that was refreshing, and see DJ get going, that was positive. So hopefully we can build off that and keep this train moving.
Definitely. DJ did get going, and he was the player of the game with 17 attempts, 126 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 33 reception yards. Did anyone else want to add lib to this?
One thing, congrats, Eddie, on your 80th career INT.
Yes, sir.
Congrats, man. Well deserved. Reason why you're in the Hall of Fame for sure. And also, and I think we mentioned this on last week's show, Ashley, I said that if you give DJ Moses around, well, I'll say 130 yards of total offense gained, I think you guys would be in a better spot. And he went for 159 total yards with 2 rushing touchdowns. And like Eddie said, helped took the pressure off of you. You didn't make any mistakes. And that's in comparison to Tyree, who had a great game, with the exception that he probably went that 4 from the interception column to the TD column. So,
Right.
So you guys did a great job in that win.
Appreciate it. Speaking of winners, the Baltimore Vultures took on the DC Dragons and won their game 33-27. Baltimore had 344 yards passing, 53 yards rushing, 397 yards total. Their time of possession was 21 minutes, 9 seconds with 1 mistake. DC had 278 yards passing, 129 yards rushing for 407 yards total. Their time of possession was 22 minutes, 32 seconds with 2 mistakes. Now, so DC had the ball with more rushing yards. They had the ball longer, but they made 1 more mistake. What do you think helped you guys eke out that win, T-Roy?
Well, Jack is doing a great job not turning the ball over. He rarely has games where he throws more than 1 interception. So this game, only 1 INT. You already mentioned the passing yards, 344. What also helps out is that our receivers are currently making big plays once they do get their hands on the ball. Irvin and Chima combined for 18 receptions for 268 yards receiving. And Chima had 2 big touchdowns that help us, you know, stay ahead against DC. And shout out to Alvin Mack, 10 total tackles. He got an interception, 1 tackle for loss. So our defense is still making plays when we have to, and we're not turning the ball over. Me and Jimmy's having the best season ever because we get to chill while our wide receivers and tight ends get to do all the work. So hopefully we can get involved in the near future. But, you know, as long as we ain't turning the ball over and our defense is creating turnovers at the right opportunities, we should be fine.
Gotcha. Anybody else?
T-Roy kind of hinted on this. And I'll say it again for those who, just to give him some recognition, but I've seen a number of Baltimore games. Alvin Mack is one of the most underrated players in the entire SFL. And he needs to get more recognition because that dude, wherever the ball is where you can find him. That guy's a ball player. And I wish he would get some more pub than he gets because he's a great player.
Gotcha. The London Knights took on the Portland Fleet, and the Fleet won 34-27. London had 456 yards passing, 12 yards rushing, though, with 468 yards total. Their time of possession was 20 minutes, 28 seconds with 4 mistakes. Portland had 167 yards passing, 172 yards rushing, for 339 yards total. Their time of possession was 22 minutes, 44 seconds, with 2 mistakes. Player of the game was Ezekiel Love, running back, with 28 attempts, 170 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 5 reception yards. Now, Jacob, I've told you, I don't know if I said this on camera. Yeah, I did. That you guys have been having a wonderful season. I've seen you guys grow from the time you started all the way up until now. You're adding more wins to the column. It seems like you're getting more confident in the play column ability. So, congratulations to you, man. So what was the reason that you guys won this game?
Ashley, thank you. And, the credit truly goes out to my coaching staff, putting in long nights. There's times that they're rocking it at 3 a.m. Out there on the East Coast, midnight here on the West. And I'm like, guys, whoa, let's, are we hanging it up yet? And they're like, no, we need one more sim in and everything else like that. So, I credit everything to my head coach, Mel Davis, my DC, Art Vandelay, assistant OC, Ezekiel Love. They're putting together awesome game plans where you don't know if we're going to be running, you don't know if we're going to be passing. I think what really took this game into the next level is getting Johnny Pickler on the ground 5 times. He is the least sacked quarterback here in the SFL. He prides himself in his best front line. This last week, I guess our front seven took it to him, and then our secondary, Art is really putting together a great defensive scheme to get 4 picks from Pickler. And I don't think I've ever seen in an SFL game, and Eddie's been around here longer, where a team has only rushed for 12 yards. So all in all, it was a great game. It was a nail biter, and we're just here to make every game enjoyable for the fans here in the SFL.
The only other game that I saw where it was someone rushed for like 5 yards was
Robert Merrill.
London.
Yeah,
Yes, it was
probably
London.
It's
Right.
another London game.
They rushed one time. It was for 5 yards.
Yes,
Wow.
and they threw the rest of the damn time. And yeah, we
Yeah.
lost them. That's the reason why we remember. But still,
Well, I want to say that their week 1 game against Atlanta, I don't know that Robert Merrill touched the ball very much either.
Yeah.
And he didn't touch it. He touched it a little bit more when they played us, but he did not get a whole lot of yards.
Yeah, I guess they're just trying to give Johnny the shine, but you got to
But
be more than one-dimensional.
Well, there was a game this week where one person that was a running back, did not get a stat line recorded at all. So you're going to be going over that game eventually. But I do know a certain running back that had a couple of games where it was at least 10 yards or less, and now he's a fullback for Baltimore.
I wonder who the heck that could be.
I don't know. Some dude.
Probably got more yards now.
Exactly.
Right.
I probably do.
Make the switch to fullback and things look better.
Oh man. The Louisiana Revolution battled the Atlanta Swarm, and Atlanta won 30-24. Atlanta had, 254 yards passing, 81 yards rushing, for 335 yards total. Their time of possession was 24 minutes and 4 seconds with 2 mistakes. The Revolution had 302 yards passing, 21 yards rushing, 323 yards total. Their time of possession was 18 minutes, 58 seconds with 5 turnovers. Player of the game was BDG Hollywood, Hall of Famer. 28 attempts, 76 yards, 2 touchdowns, 43 reception yards. So I'm thinking that the reason why Atlanta was able to pull out this win at the Hive was because of those 5 turnovers.
Well, it was because Reggie Streeter got hurt on the first series.
Oh, I missed that. Did he?
Yeah, he got knocked out of the game. First, it was the 2 yard. They were getting ready to go into the end zone, and he got hit at the 2 yard line. and that was it. He was gone, and
Yep,
they didn't. I think they were held to a field goal on that drive because the backup came in and they couldn't get into the end zone.
Wow.
Yeah, so you're right. Those 5 turnovers didn't help, but not having Reggie Streeter the rest of the game, that's probably the reason.
Definitely. Anybody
And-
else?
Yeah, no Reggie Streeter, and you get BDG Hollywood going.
Exactly.
Land.
Oh, you gotta give shout outs to Jack Napier, 3 interceptions in that game. So he was balling for Atlanta, and then Bryant Dynasty, the Blue Chisholm was the connection that worked out for him down there against Louisiana. He had like 112 yards receiving 1 touchdown. So that touchdown could have been the difference in that game.
Yeah. Atlanta played well. I mean, not taking anything away from Atlanta. They played well. But I feel sorry for Louisiana because I think this is the second time they've had a player get hurt.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sucks. That's happened to us a few times. And, you know, it's one thing if you get hurt and you come back out there, but when you're hurt and it's done.
Yeah.
Crazy. The Carolina Skyhawks took on the Jacksonville Kings, and Jacksonville won 42-14. Carolina, 250 yards passing, 36 yards rushing, 286 yards total. Their time of possession was 17 minutes and 51 seconds with 4 turnovers. Jacksonville had 454 yards passing, 34 yards rushing, 488 yards total. Their time of possession was 24 minutes, 40 seconds with 1 turnover. Quarterback Marcus Dunhill was the player of the game. 33 completions out of 39 attempts, 453 yards, 5 touchdowns, and a quarterback rating of 144.0. So it looks like Marcus finally found his stride over there in Jacksonville, huh?
That was was that 14 when they won a championship?
Yeah.
14.
Season
Yeah,
14, Dunhill.
Season 14, Dunhill won it with Atlanta.
Yeah, and that's what we saw that game. 5 touchdowns, over 450 yards passing, just 1 interception.
Yeah,
that was amazing.
That is classic Marcus Dunhill right there.
Yep.
It was just a clinic,
Carolina had no answer to their offense. It was.
And Grayson Willis had 230 yards receiving too, so that's another monster day. Him alone, 230.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Jacksonville's finally starting to put it together.
It's going to be fun facing them later this year.
Yeah. I would not want to play them at home.
Not at all. The San Diego Mavericks took on the Vancouver Legion, and Vancouver won 44-20. San Diego had 304 yards passing, 89 yards rushing, 393 yards total. Their time of possession was 22 minutes, 25 seconds with 5 turnovers. You know, 5 turnovers seems to be the magic number for some reason. I don't know what's going on. Vancouver had 357 yards passing, 89 yards rushing. Them the same, huh? 446 yards total. Their time of possession was 20 minutes, 54 seconds with 3 mistakes. Player of the game was Robert Redford, halfback, with 14 attempts, 94 yards, 103 reception yards, and 3 reception touchdowns. So, guys, what happened with this game besides obviously the turnovers? What else do you think happened? Because they had the same amount of rushing yards, very close in the passing percentage. So what do you think pushed Vancouver over the edge?
The MVP of that game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say Redford plus San Diego.
Redford.
Yeah, plus San Diego coming off their high horse after the win against Arizona.
Yeah, Redford, 187 yards of total offense and 4 TDs.
Yeah.
That's all I'm going to say.
They're converting possessions into touchdowns, and San Diego's moving the ball but not turning it into points.
Got it. The Charleston Predators took on the Lone Star Glory, and the Predators won 31-21. Charleston had 372 yards passing, 58 yards rushing, 430 yards total. Their time possession was 23 minutes and 2 seconds with 2 mistakes. Lone Star had 326 yards passing, 117 yards rushing for 443 yards total. Their time of possession was 20 minutes, 51 seconds with 3 mistakes. Player of the game was quarterback T.D. Drew with 23 completions out of 26 attempts, 372 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a quarterback rating of 128.4. So this was a pretty good game to watch. Only wound up being a 10-point difference. I think last week I said it was going to be a little bit less than that. So what was the reason that Charleston won over the Lone Star Glory, guys?
Ashley, in my opinion, kind of looking over everything, the Predators on third down conversions was 56%. So when you're actually converting on your third downs and not kicking, that's definitely a recipe for a winning in any game.
Mm-hmm. Not to mention rushing yardage, because, they had 107. Lone Star had 117 yards rushing, so it would seem like they would have.
Yeah, but Ike McBride is better than that, and I think that's probably part of the problem for Lone Star so far this season. They just aren't getting Ike going the way she. I mean, last year, did you want to face Lone Star Glory with Ike McBride and Collier at fullback? No. I mean, I had a game plan for him, and no. It's like you can't stop them. You put her into the flats on a swing pass or a screen. My God, she's impossible to stop. So I think that's what Lone Star needs to get back to that, and they're just not there yet.
I said it before, and I'll say it again. Cameron Collier is the best blocking fullback in the entire SFL, and Lone Star and Ike Collier is missing him. But I will say this. He doesn't get a lot of pub. But I tell you what, John Trusman over there in Portland is right behind Cameron Collier. Because I've watched a couple of their games, and he is laying people out there blocking for Ezekiel Love. So, but yeah, that and the fact that, Lone Star has some coaching changes again this offseason, and it takes a while to get acclimated to your new personnel. So he's going through some growing pains right now.
Gotcha. As we all been there, everybody's been there at some point. It's just about how you overcome those adversities and get better. Hence Queen City, hence Portland, that kind of thing. And
I wasn't at Queen City before, so I have no idea what you're talking about.
Well, you saw where they were. Never mind.
I agree. Yes.
So the Fort Worth Toros took on the Los Angeles Likings, and the Likings won 20-3. Toros had 302 yards passing with 96 yards rushing, 398 yards total. Their time of possession was 20 minutes, 13 seconds with 4 mistakes. The Likings had 213 yards passing, 127 yards rushing, 340 yards total. Their time of possession was 23 minutes, 12 seconds, 1 mistake. So the Likings clearly had a better game. Only 1 mistake, was more balanced, I would say, on both sides of the ball, whereas the Toros was pretty much relying on the arms of the quarterback to get it done. And unfortunately, it looks like it turned into a few turnovers for them. Player of the game was Robert Johnson, halfback, 27 attempts, 131 yards, 1 touchdown, and 10 reception yards. I'm sorry. Go ahead, my dear.
No, LA, you're right. LA came in with a great game plan, and Fort Worth, what Eddie was saying about Lone Star, exactly the same thing you can say about Fort Worth right now. They are going through their growing pains. They haven't quite figured out how to use Cam Curtis and Williams, in the same offense. Their defense is still good. I mean, Los Angeles could have racked up a whole lot more than 20 points. It's just Fort Worth just not consistent enough, not converting enough. And that LA team is pretty darn good.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Can't sleep on LA. Anybody else?
I would like to mention all the running backs who were the most valuable players of their respective games. They had plays that basically took the heart and soul of the opposing team's defenses. or their just production did it. Like Robert Johnson, again, another 131 yards rushing with 1 touchdown. And it's just when your running back can just basically take the soul from the defense, take the fight out of them, it's going to make your team's life on offense a lot easier. So that's shout out to Robert Johnson, shout out to LA for getting their running games going. Shout out to the other teams who got their running games going and got the W.
Last game was the Mexico City Aztecs taking on the St. Louis Gladiators. And Gladiators won 28-24. Nice tight game there. Mexico had 301 yards passing with 62 yards rushing, 363 yards total. Their time of possession was 21 minutes, 37 seconds with, again, 4 mistakes. The Gladiators had 264 yards passing, 58 yards rushing, 322 yards total. Time of possession was 21 minutes, 31 seconds with the 1 mistake. Player of the game was Paul Delavue with wide receiver. I hope I said that right. Please forgive me if I didn't. 11 receptions, 115 yards, 2 touchdowns, and averaged 10.5 yards per catch. So it looks like the reason why Mexico won and why the Gladiators won the game and why Mexico lost was probably the turnover ratios.
Turnovers.
Yeah.
And
You know,
Matt Wilson has thrown 9 turnovers in the last 2 games. That's a recipe for disaster.
You know, another thing looking at this game is when you can keep Mike Daggs to 9 yards, that right there in itself is a victory. But to also, win the game, I believe that's what St. Louis did is kept Mike Daggs in check.
Yeah, Gladiators played their butts off. This game was back and forth. Mexico City, I still, near the end of the game, I still thought Mexico City was going to pull it out. And Gladiators shut the door. I mean, good on them.
And it wasn't for Gerard Walker getting 2 of those interceptions, and 1 of those was a pick 6.
Right.
That's, scoring, that's the difference too. Mexico City could have won, but that last pick to Walker that resulted in the pick 6, hurt them bad.
Do it every time.
Yeah, and Mexico seems to have gotten away from that really balanced attack that they had. Particularly, it was more run forward, ground and pound, which is, I love that type of offense. But they just seem to have lost that a little bit the last 2 weeks, and I'm sure Ramos will get it back.
Yeah, let me ask everybody a question. I know it's Ashley show, but let me ask everybody a question.
Of course.
Who do you think is now the best running back? Because it was Phoenix Jones and Ezekiel Love, but it seems like Love is now taking over that spot. I don't know where they're at stats wise at this point, but it seems like Love is now way out there. But you thought it was going to be Jones as well because he had a hot start at the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, I think Love is definitely number 1 at the moment.
I agree.
I tend to favor the home run hitter, the guy who can score on any given play, and right now that's Ezekiel Love.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I would have to agree 100% with
He can do it however he wants.
can.
He can either bust it out for a long run, or he can just demoralize teams with runs that's no longer than 30 yards and still just whoop your butt.
Yeah.
So,
You know what? Side note, T-Roy called a game. I forget who Portland was playing, but you could tell he was just enamored with his Love. Every time he made a play, you could just hear him. Oh! I'm like,
he's making those spin moves. I was like,
I believe, Eddie, that was when he was calling the game with Damon. I believe it was a home game, and it was against the San Diego Mavericks, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, you could tell that T-Roy Gaines is a fan of Zeke, which if you're not, you about to learn this year.
I'm just gonna be real. I was like, I like when the running backs do their job and have great performances, and Ezekiel Love is one of those who keep doing it week in, week out. He's Mr. Consistent. I think he could get a 2,000-yard season if things stands pat for you, Jacob, in Portland.
I totally agree with that. Good stuff, guys. Good stuff. We are going to slide over to SFL chat around the water cooler. We're going to be doing a rapid quick fire for our pick'ems for week 7. And if you would like to see the rosters, if you want to know more about us, if you want to read articles, if you want to have access to all the podcasts and different things that we have going on, please visit our website at www.simulationfl.net, where you'll find all of this information. Even join our Discord to become a player today. All right. Now, Saturday, September the 4th for week 7. I've got some fantastic games. It's going to be hard, y'all. At 2:00, the Portland Fleet will be taking on the Las Vegas Fury on For the Fans Twitch network. And Portland is so hot, I'm going to have to, Justin, I'm sorry. Sorry. But Portland, I got to go with Portland on this one.
No, I'm sorry. I have to go with the Fury on this one. Sorry, Jacob. Sorry, Jacob. Tom Blitzkrieg's gonna stop Ezekiel every time, my friend.
He's calling his shot.
Ooh, nah, brother, come on now. It's okay. I would not expect anything else from you, Justin, but to pick the Fury. So hey, you staying true to John Bond and the Vegas Fury. So much love and respect to you.
Thank you, Jacob. It's like, hey, you gotta, remember a number when the SFLM comes up in October, my friend.
Zero, who you got?
Just because I like the consistency of their running game, I'm going to pick Portland.
Gotcha. And Chris?
I think Las Vegas is a very tough team at home. I think there are a couple of teams that will already confess to that, but Ezekiel Love, unless they can shut him down, I don't see them winning.
Got it.
Portland.
Eddie?
If this game was in Portland, I would confidently rule in favor of Portland. But as he said, Vegas, for whatever reason, is a tough team to crack at home.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But man, Portland, 4 straight W's.
Mm-hmm.
And they're doing it the right way, man. I'm a big fan of Art Vanderlei and his defensive schemes that he pulls out. I'm going to say Portland by 3 in the 4th quarter. Portland by 3.
All right. Also on Saturday at 2:20 p.m., on our Simulation Football Twitch channel, the Atlanta Swarm will be taking on the DC Dragons. Looks like DC is going to be at home. Swarm is going to have to go into their house to do it. DC has been playing lights out. You can't necessarily count them out. But I think Atlanta has the momentum to win this game. So I'm going to root for Atlanta on this one.
I'll jump on the Atlanta train. I think if Napier can continue what he left off, seems like he's getting an interception every game. I think Atlanta is going to win that one. They force the turnovers and then they'll capitalize off of them. I'll pick Atlanta.
Okay.
Actually, I'm going to pick DC Dragons. You give Kevin Say the ball and he'll cram it just like any of the other great running backs here in this league. So I'm going to give the nod to DC in this one.
Okay.
I originally had the Swarm, but I'm like, nah, I'm going to go for DC because my minor league scout, Kevin Say, is on DC.
You better be cool. All right, everybody. Eddie, did you choose?
DC lost their first game of the season versus Vancouver. They went on to win 2 straight, but not have won since. They got one of the better offensive coordinators over there. But man, I mean, Atlanta's on a tear. They're 4-2 now, although it took some great individual performances on the defensive end to get it. That game's in DC. Mullinex, man, that dude know what he's doing over there in DC. But to me, that's almost a pick'em game.
Oh my God.
I'm gonna go.
Flip the quarter, Eddie. Just flip a quarter.
I'm gonna go DC.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm with
okay.
you. I'm with you on that, Eddie. It's a pick 'em for me, but I'm thinking maybe Atlanta has just enough to get by DC. I mean, I hate picking against DC at home, but I've already played. We've already played Atlanta and Queen City, and they're pretty darn tough.
All right, we'll see if we're right about that. Now, at 4:30 on Saturday, Next Level for the Fans Twitch network, the Lone Star Glory will be taking on the Fort Worth Toros at home. Oh, I'm sorry, the Toros will be at home.
Right.
And this is going to be a fantastic game to watch. I think I'm going to go with Lone Star on this one, just because I'm not sure what Fort Worth is going to do on offense.
You know, Ashley, for me, this is, you know, a pick 'em, because you have two coaching staffs that are new, still trying to figure their footing here in the SFL. I'm going to go with Lone Star also on this one.
Okay.
And definitely, you know, get Ike McBride the ball. You know, don't go away from what you're used to doing, and just run the rock.
Absolutely.
I think.
Oh, T-Roy.
Yeah.
Oh, just you.
I'm gonna say Toros in this one because they gotta get a win or something, or get Aaron Alexander the ball somehow.
Show fullbacks some love. Fullbacks matter.
Yeah.
I'm going with Lone Star. Just a quick answer. I think it's because of the experience of their quarterback. I think quarterbacks in this league is very similar to quarterbacks in college football. If you have a very well-experienced quarterback, more times than not, your team's going to do well. And I think Lone Star has that.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I'm worried about my old team, but I'm not picking against them. They got to beat Lone Star one of these years. So why not this year?
Why not now, huh?
Why not now? So Fort Worth.
All right, Eddie.
Two teams who are kind of struggling to find their way. You wonder just how much Fort Worth is missing Chris Comisac, and one day I'm gonna find out some truth as to who was really running that ship over there in terms of play calling on offense and defense. Not sure if either one will ever admit it, but
He wants them to say it with his chest, huh?
Okay.
But Lone Star has a new coach, as we alluded to earlier, too. So, where's this game played at?
At Fort Worth.
Dockyards.
I'm gonna go Fort Worth simply because they're playing at home.
All right then.
But I noticed they are doing some different things. I don't know how long they've been doing it, but I noticed last week they've gotten some personnel packages in the playbook that I have not seen before until last week. So
they're thinking a little bit more outside the box. Yeah.
Yeah, they're thinking some more outside the box, and we'll see how it carries over. But I'm going to say Fort Worth because they're playing at home.
They just going to give Williams the ball more. That's my personal opinion.
All right. Gotcha. At 5:15 on the Simulation Football's Twitch channel, Arizona Scorpions will be taking on the Los Angeles Vikings. And I'm going to go with the Arizona Scorpions. Again, I think that if our defense plays the same ball like we did last time, creating turnovers, capitalizing off those turnovers, if I can have a mistake-free game and get DJ more involved, we should be good to go.
This is a pick for me.
Go ahead, T-Roy.
I'm saying this is a pick 'em for me. Know what? I'm gonna go with Arizona. I'm gonna pick Arizona if
Don't say Arizona just because we got two Scorpions over here. Say it with your chest, man.
I am saying with my chest. Reason why I'm picking Arizona because I think you guys can have a more balanced offense in that game. And I know you guys can do well on defense. I'm picking Arizona because I believe you guys have the more balanced offense and more experienced quarterback.
I'm saying
All
Los
right.
Angeles because that defense, boy, woo, that defense will sack you. Ace Blackwell with his first sack of the season at the end, toward the end of last week game, he's going to sack Ashley Jackson again. He's
Oh, okay,
going
we'll
for
see.
it.
One of the least sacked
Justin.
quarterbacks in the season in the league so far, but we'll see. Sorry.
Talk to him,
Justin's
Ashley.
definitely
Remind him.
saying it with his chest here. Being one game behind Los Angeles, I am definitely rooting for the Arizona Scorpions.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Chris?
I think if Arizona can come out with a balanced offensive attack, I know the defense is going to be good. Eddie does a great job of taking away what you want to do, or at least making what you want to do more difficult. I don't know that Los Angeles has run into that type of a team yet this season. Week one, they ran into a pretty good team. And it showed, but different coaching staff now. So I'm not quite sure. Los Angeles is looking like a different team than they have since last season. And I'd hate to pick against them at home right now. So it's going to be close. I think I'm going to give Los Angeles the nod just because they're playing at home. But I think Arizona's got a real shot in this.
Ash, remind me to remove my care package I was sending Chris Comisac.
Noted.
You told me to speak the truth.
Say it with your chest.
Daddy did.
I hate doing pick'ems.
Same here.
Well, hey, it's 50-50. So
I want you guys to win. We've already beaten you, so it's
wait, hold on. See, I like how you said that.
Oh my God, are we going back to convention week already? Come on now. Come on now.
You already said I'm not getting my package anyway, so
He's gonna keep digging himself.
Say it with your chest, brother.
I
Just
know.
rip it open and say it with your chest, because Eddie
I
don't
want
want
you
it
guys
any other
to
way.
win. I want you guys to win.
Noted, Chris.
Mhm.
The Vancouver Legion will be taking on the Sioux Falls Sparrows.
You didn't
for the
ask me,
fans.
Ashley. What's up
Oh,
with that?
Eddie,
we already know who you gonna pick.
Exactly.
Pick it
In her defense,
LA, right?
She didn't say anything about me versus Las Vegas. So she just put over us Owners, brother. It's okay. It's okay.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. I just knew who you was gonna pick automatically. But go ahead.
LA has a new coaching staff. James Richards, the quitter, quit for the third time.
Yeah.
But
Still 2-1.
Different show.
2-1, baby.
This ain't say
Don't
with your
matter.
chest.
2-1, man.
He's still as good as a couple teams in the SFL.
but
Oh my God.
they opened up the playbook a bit. They're getting their running back involved. They're getting their receivers involved. They got some run packages in there that force you. And even more importantly, their personnel grouping, they force you to play one way or another in terms of your base personnel. And you got to live the decision. Are you going to take away the runner or take away the pass? And, it's either way, it's pick your poison. So if you decide to do one thing, they're going to take advantage of another and vice versa. So I have a decision to make, and that decision is tough because my Sims, I haven't really ran too many of them because I've been busy with work, but I plan on wrapping that up starting this evening. And I got a decision to make. I don't have much time to do it, but I'm picking Arizona to go on the road. And I don't care if we win by 1 or win by 30. I don't care how it looks. I just want the W. So I'm picking Arizona to win.
You said all that just to say you want Arizona to win.
That's right.
I got you. I got you.
He said it with his chest.
He did. He did. I appreciate that always. The Vancouver Legion is taking on the Sioux Falls Sparrows at 7 o'clock on For the Fans and Twitch Network. It's going to be a fantastic game. The Sparrows will be at home with this one. If this was last season, I probably just went with Vancouver straight up. But I'm thinking that because they're at home, Sioux Falls Sparrows is going to win this game. Vancouver has just been a little bit topsy-turvy on offense, even though they did win this game, but it's just not something last week. I'm just having trouble seeing that pattern that they normally would show. So that's why I'm going with Sioux Falls.
Vancouver
Actually,
should win.
Yeah,
They should.
there it is. You said it exactly, Chris. I'm gonna, if Sioux Falls can't stop Robert Redford, if they can't stop him, Vancouver will just blow the doors off of Sioux Falls. So even though they are in my division, I'm picking Vancouver to win this one.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and I'm picking Vancouver as well because I know Annie Hamilton is going to scheme something with Redford for this weekend, so I'm picking Vancouver.
Got it.
And let's just say this is a certain players return home to Sioux Falls, as Robert Redford was formerly a Sparrow. So he gets to face his former team this week. And like everybody said, I think Redford will be the key to that game. If he gets the same amount of yardage, doesn't matter how he gets it, if he gets the same amount of yardage as he did last week, I think Vancouver should walk away with the victory. Sioux Falls quarterback Tyree has to throw more touchdowns and interceptions in this game if they're going to win. But I'm picking Vancouver.
Yeah, they got to protect the ball. If Sioux Falls has any chance, they have to play a smart game. They got to make it. They got to be the old Sioux Falls where they grind it out on you and limit your possessions, because Vancouver will light you up every time they get the ball. That's the way they're built. So yeah, Sioux Falls is going to have to play a perfect game. I don't know that they have that in them right now. So I'm with them, Vancouver.
Okay. Eddie?
Vancouver, I gotta give Andy and that coaching staff over there credit because they went away from what they like to do or what they typically do versus San Diego and did what I should have done and got DJ more involved in the screen game because of the defensive philosophy that San Diego has been playing with lately. And if I had done that, that's neither here nor there. But I like to give Vancouver credit because they went away from what they typically like to do and got Redford involved in the screen game. And as a result of that, getting that guy out in open space is a recipe for disaster for any defensive team. I see Vancouver winning this game as well.
Okay. Gotcha. Last game on Saturday at 7:20 p.m. on SFL's Twitch channel. The San Diego Mavericks will be taking on the Charleston Predators. Going to be a fantastic game to watch. Charleston will be at home. I will be going with the Charleston Predators on this one.
Yeah, I think that's another tough game to pick. Both teams have been good at times this season, but yeah, Charleston's at home. I think I'd give them the nod since they're at home. San Diego still has to prove that they can put together two good weeks.
I'm going with Charleston as well, especially if TD Drew continues to throw less interceptions, more touchdowns. He was on fire this past week. I would love to see them get Swearingen more involved. If he gets 100 yards rushing on top of that, they will win this one.
Okay.
Ashley, I'm going to go with San Diego on this one. They're getting so close in every single game. I know how that coaching staff feels. I know how the owner feels and everything else like that. So their grind is never stopping. So for that, I'm the Mavericks.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'm the Mavericks as well because of the connections with my minor league head coach Javier Vasquez and Liam Hammer, my defensive coach. So I'm going San Diego.
Got it.
Charleston has opened up the doors with their playbook and gone away from that 2 tight end set that limited their deep threat abilities. I like Charleston in this one.
All right, then. Sunday, September the 5th. Houston Hyenas will be taking on the Mexico City Aztecs at 12:30 on For the Fans Twitch network. It's going to be a really great game. I think, Hyenas is probably going to be pissed off from the Ills. But I think Mexico City, if they get Phoenix Jones, if Phoenix Jones gets off on this game, I definitely think Mexico has a chance. So I'm going with Mexico, especially with them being at home.
Yeah, I don't see any way that the Aztecs lose this game. I mean, they've just lost 2 in a row. They're going to be just as upset at losing as the Houston Hyenas are. It's just, I think Mexico City's a better team top to bottom than Houston is. And yeah, they're at home. Not a good combo. Not a good combo for Houston.
Definitely right.
I'm going with Mexico City also. You know, you get Phoenix Jones the ball, you get Mike Daggs rolling again. Mexico City is going to be unstoppable, especially at home.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm thinking Mexico City as well because you got to get Mike Daggs going. You can get the new tight end as well who replaces Nate Ritters. I believe his name is, I got to look up the.
Is it Henry or something like that?
Yeah, Bill Henry, I believe, yeah.
Bill Cherry.
Bill Cherry.
No, Bill Henry, yeah. Bill Henry's the new tight end up there replacing the wide receiver,
Nate
Nate Ritters. So
I thought it was Bill Cherry, but okay.
Okay.
I'm going with Houston, even though it's in Mexico City, because I need Mexico City to commit to the run. And I need for them to basically throw to Mike Daggs more. And I mean, that's a trending tag, and he's one of the best tight ends in this league. For him to only get 1 reception in the last game and not have a factor 2 weeks ago, it's kind of head scratching. If they get Mike Daggs involved and Phoenix Jones does his thing, I think Mexico City will definitely win this one. But I think Houston will surprise folks going to Mexico City and get the win.
Okay.
Mexico City has lost 2 straight on the road. Matt Wilson has thrown 9 interceptions in those 2 games. Houston was undefeated in their division 2 seasons ago, I believe it was. Don't remember how they fared this past season.
Not well. We beat them twice. Fort Worth.
Mm-hmm.
That's what's up. So as they just alluded to earlier, they got rid of Nate Ritters, who wasn't progressing. He hasn't progressed all season, which is a disappointment because he's one of the better minor league players to come out.
Definitely.
So to see him not progress all season, I'm not sure what's going on with him. I hope he's okay. But now they decide to get a second tight end involved, and which means Jacob McCall is going to get more activity because I think he has 9 catches coming into this week, and he's a much better receiver than that. He used to be on my team, and I'm interested to see how Mexico City is going to use this newfound offense because now they have 1 less receiver, but they have 2 tight ends. So I have a funny feeling they're going to revamp their offensive playbook, and they're going to throw some wrinkles at Houston that they do not see coming. And because of that, and the fact that they're playing at home, I got Mexico City coming out with a win this week.
All right, then. Good points all around. The Florida Storm will be taking on the St. Louis Gladiators at 1:05 p.m. on the Simulation Football's Twitch channel. It's going to be a really good game to watch. Gladiators will be at home. I think that the Florida Storm will take this win. They're just a little bit too hot right now, and we'll just see how it goes. But yeah, I'm going with Charlie Boletsky and Ron Cochran and group.
Yeah, I got Florida as well because their defense is intercepting balls like nobody's business, and Ron Calkins just dropping dimes all the time. So
You just can't go against Max Paul. So Florida Storm.
Yeah, if it had been before last week, I'd have said Florida Storm easy, no contest. But with what St. Louis pulled on Mexico City, who knows? I still think it's Florida, but I think St. Louis might have figured out something. We'll find out. Maybe it was a flash in the pan. Yeah, I still think Florida wins, but it could be a lot closer than people think.
I'm with Chris on that one. I think it's going to be a lot closer. For me, this would have been a coin toss. I'm picking Florida, but a close game. I think they got the best, team going into that game with the talent surrounding that whole franchise. I think I'm picking Florida. I can't go against Max Paul, but I think it'll be a lot closer. I wouldn't be shocked if St. Louis wins this.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So, see, there you go. You know what? We got to talk, Ashley. That's the second time you about to skip right over me. And I'm about
it's
to be
another
put out
hour. I'm just playing.
I'm about to be looking for another GM and a quarterback. But no, I'm just playing. I got love for you. Man, I'm a big fan of Drew, really. He learned a lot from Gerald. He took what Gerald taught him and ran with it defensively. But this season, he's been doing some things. I don't know how he's getting away with it. And I don't know when you plan on publishing this if it's going to be before or after playbooks I do.
Thursday.
But if I was, okay. Well, I say it anyway. Let them do it. But if I was Max Paul over there in Florida, and St. Louis plans on continuing on using that defensive philosophy they've been using, I would make sure that Bolesky gets the ball early and often, and I would be shocked if he finishes the game with anything less than 140 yards rushing and 2 or 3 touchdowns, because what they've been doing lately on defense, I mean, maybe it's something they saw on film, I don't know, but to see them do that against Mexico City, but they got away with it. So I don't know, maybe they saw something, I don't know. They ran some sims and saw some things working, but I expect Bullet to go about 130, 140 yards and 2 touchdowns. But we'll see. But I got Florida.
Okay. Gotcha. 2:45 p.m. on For the Fans and Twitch Network. The Louisiana Revolution will be taking on the London Knights. London will be at home at 2:45 p.m. This is going to be an interesting game, right? Definitely a grudge match. It's going to be probably the game of the week. Chad was supposed to be here tonight too. He was going to talk about this too. Dang, this is hard.
Toss up.
I think only because they're at home, I think I'm going to go with London on this one. Probably not by much though. Maybe about 3 to 7 points. I don't think it'll be a very high scoring game, but I do think that London may pull out the win on this one.
Yeah, I mean, again, London's in the North Division. I'm gonna back the team in the North Division, but if Louisiana can go a game without getting somebody important hurt, and they can get Reggie Streeter going, because London, you can run on London. You can run a lot on London. And, if you follow what Portland did to London, you get some pressure on Johnny Pickler. You force him to make some quicker throws than he wants to make. You can turn them over. Turnovers and a running game with Streeter, that could be a recipe for victory for Louisiana. I still think you're right. I think London at home probably pulls one out. Non-contract kicker kicks a 50-yard field goal to win the game. But I wouldn't count out Louisiana at all in this game.
I know it's so hard.
Ashley, I'm going to go with Louisiana, Reggie Streeter. They're just going to cram it down. The defense there in London, just like what Chris said, as long as you can get pressure on Johnny and make him make those ill-advised throws. I have Louisiana winning by 14.
I'm going to say this. It's not only interesting game because it's Johnny facing his old team. Let's not forget Reggie Streeter is facing his old team.
That's true.
He's facing against London. He was formerly of the Knights. He wants to bounce back after being injured the previous week and show his former team, like, hey, man, don't forget who you had. I agree with Louisiana. I'm picking Louisiana because I think their defense will be extra motivated, especially who they're going to be going against, their former quarterback. So I think they're going to be extra motivated. And I think Reggie Streeter is going to help Utah out with that offense attack. If Streeter gets over 150 yards, they should win. I won't be surprised London wins this, but I think Louisiana is going to win it based off of motivation that's heading into this game. And with Streeter being, very, very motivated.
All right.
So we have two teams. This game should be, if there was a Monday night football game this week, it would be this game right here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So Louisiana, when their run game is going, their offense is hard to stop. But Reggie Streeter has not had the success he's had since legend settings have been used. Like someone alluded to earlier, London's run defense is not the best. And they're giving up, I want to say like 30, 35 points a game or something like that on average. So, but if they have one, yeah, I work here. And my bad.
But, taken away.
You know what I'm saying, dude?
Let's not have another Outback Steakhouse incident here. You're being recorded right now, brother.
Bro, he's walking me like this here. Bro, you better slow down, bro. I almost stood up. Fuck you, man. Sorry. Sorry, my bad. But
it'll be popping off like in the stadium, man.
There's gonna be some furniture moving up in here. But the one thing that London has in their favor, is that Gerald, Huma got hit hard. He has not been able to sim this week. So the coaching this week falls on falls on Coach Craven and not Ross. I forget who the AOC is over there, pardon me. DC is. But so the coaching falls on those guys. So he hasn't had much input at all. And it's going to be really interesting because the 1 week he does not want to miss, and he probably wants to run 10, 15 more sims on, is the week he can't do it because of the hurricane they're going through right now over there. So, and the fact that it's in London, I'm sure, man, London might surprise by trying to get their run game a little bit more involved to try to get to, reduce some of the turnovers that Johnny's gonna inevitably throw. But man, because the game is in London, and because Gerald doesn't have much of a say this week with the coaching. See, he has two choices. He can go with a heavy run attack. But if he goes with that run attack and gets behind, that can spell disaster. So
right.
I'm gonna go London.
Okay.
I'm gonna go Louisiana because it's Streeter's old backyard in London, and so.
Okay, gotcha. The Denver Nightwings will be taking on the Baltimore Vultures at 3:15 p.m. on Sunday at on the Simulation Football's Twitch network. Going to be a great game to watch. I think that the Vultures are pretty much unbeatable at home. Of course, anybody can have a bad sim day, but when it comes to certain teams being at home, I normally always go with the Vultures, especially since they have been playing lights out. So yeah, I'm going with the Baltimore Vultures to win.
No comment.
I'm going with Denver.
Okay.
Yeah, I think you're right, Ashley. You don't pick against Baltimore at Baltimore. It's funny. One of our guys in the head office, we put channels in for each of the weeks so that we could do our game planning in those channels so that things don't get all completely meshed together. And he accidentally spelled Baltimore wrong, and he called it Baltimort. And I said, "That's the team that shall not be named." That's the way they're playing, man. They are the dark one of the SFL. And
says the undefeated team, right? Okay.
Yeah, whatever. There are a lot more weeks to go. Yeah, Denver's a good team, but I don't think they're good enough to go into Baltimore and win.
All right.
You
What
know,
about you?
Ashley, if it was JV under helm doing coaching, Adam's still trying to figure out his footing. I know what it feels like to replace a championship team, because I followed Denver out, when JV, won his championship. If JV's coaching and running the show, I would pick Denver. But this is Baltimore's game to lose, really.
I'm going
All
to
right.
go Baltimore because Denver's in my division. Short and quick. See how I can do that
Oh,
too.
Eddie's
Ashley.
on the move, man.
He's
Eddie's on the
moving.
move.
Okay, let's
Gotta wrap this up. Gotta wrap it up.
gotta go back to work, right? All right. At 5 o'clock, the Tulsa Desperados will be taking on the Jacksonville Kings at Fort Worth. I'm sorry, at on FTF Twitch. Going to be another great game to watch. I think that Jacksonville has found their footing, especially since they're going to be at home. I'm going for Jacksonville.
Yep, same here. Jacksonville. Dunhill, air out.
I think the Willis brothers is going to be a factor in that game for that offense. I'm picking Jacksonville.
Figure out a way not to kick to Gabriel Manning. But yeah, I think Jacksonville wins.
Got it.
Jacksonville. Marcus Dunhill, if he has the same game that he had last week, Jacksonville's. This is again their game to lose.
Gotcha. Eddie?
Jacksonville.
All right. And finally, the on Sunday at 5:20 p.m. on the Simulation Football League's Twitch channel, the Carolina Skyhawks will be taking on the Queen City Corsairs, and Queen City will be at home. I am going with Queen City because they are too hot to pick against right now.
Agreed. Queen City. Short and sweet.
Mhm.
Yeah, all right, Carolina, but I'm switching it to Queen City now.
What about you, Jacob?
Matt South, former quarterback of mine, he is generally very, very good in key games. This game is definitely key for the Carolina Skyhawks. But you can't go against a boat, and I'm a boat. And so Queen City.
All right, boats.
Boats.
Chris, do I have to ask or?
I'll stay quiet,
Okay.
but I can see 7-0.
Okay.
Oh, he's
Love
calling
it.
out his shot.
Calling out his shots, man. That's crazy.
Love it. Eddie?
Well, this is kind of a pick'em game to me because
Thanks, Eddie.
no, I got Carolina in a blowout, at least by 3 touchdowns.
Okay.
Oh, what? Oh, yeah. I know why you said that. I know why you said that. There goes your care package out the window.
That's right. There you go. He's smart.
He gonna burn your jersey, Eddie. Don't do that. Hey, but listen, everybody, thank y'all for your pick'ems. We're gonna see who's right, who's gonna be on that L side of things. But if you're interested in knowing where to find, if you're to find the channel on your device, whether it's television, phone, um, whatever you decided to watch on, Next Level can be viewed. It's nextlevel.com, and for the fans, is ftfnext.com. And again, our website is www.simulationfl.net if you want to get more information about us. All right. Now we are going to quickly go over the division standings and where when I get to your team, just let me know whether you think that you've been placed properly, or if you think that they might be a little off with their guesses. And unfortunately, Jacob Bouvette had to skedaddle. Appreciate you, man, for being here and for taking the time out to hang out with us. But guys, so the Pacific Division consists of Los Angeles, Portland, Vancouver, and San Diego in that order. Los Angeles wins 5-1. Portland is 4-2. Vancouver is also 4-2, and San Diego is 1-5. So, do you guys agree with the standings as they are?
Yeah, LA's the hot team now.
Yeah.
They're all pretty darn hot now.
Yeah, and do LA? Oh, actually, LA probably don't face Portland twice, or do they? I don't know. I gotta check their schedule because that's going to be so. If they only face, if LA and Portland only face each other once, then that game's going to be
Important. Yeah.
very important.
Very.
But Portland is making some noise. Vancouver always makes noise. They need some bounces to go their way to catch up with LA.
Okay. Anybody else?
I'm sorry, I missed that, Ashley. What were you saying?
Oh, what did you think about the Pacific Division as it stands? LA being number 1, San Diego being in last place.
I think that's between them and I would say the North before a couple of weeks ago when DC decided to take a small dip for a moment. But yeah, that Pacific Division is tight, man.
It is.
I mean, who expected LA to be 5-1 right now?
And who expected Vancouver to be sitting at number 3 though?
Yeah. So, but it's a long season, I tell I tell everybody in the locker room, don't get too high, too low, off of a win or a loss because anything can happen. So we'll see.
Absolutely.
But yeah, that Pacific Division is tight.
Speaking of anything can happen, we got the West. And Arizona is leading the West at 3-3. Las Vegas sitting at 2-4 right behind Arizona. Denver is 2-4. And Sioux Falls is 1-5. So what do we think about this division? Personally, I think that it's awesome. If we can keep it that way, we do stand a chance of going deep into the playoffs, I believe.
Think y'all should. No offense to any other teams. I'm just picking from what I see up to this point. If you guys just keep it going, I think Arizona, you guys, should win that division.
Yeah, I agree with them. I think it's Denver, maybe they figure some stuff out, but they're already a game behind you, though they do have the head-to-head. But I think it's your division to lose. Arizona's division.
Got it.
Yeah. Unless the end of the season when Vegas and I think we play Arizona last week of the season, don't we? We do, don't we?
You do, last week of the season. It's either the last week or the second or last.
Yeah, last week of the season after Lone Star.
Yeah.
Yeah, Vegas. Vegas is in the same boat as Denver. If they figure things out, they're only game behind. There's a lot of football to play at.
A lot of football to play.
A lot, definitely. But Eddie, what are your thoughts on it?
Of course, I'm gonna ride with us. I got confidence in us each and every week. I never pick against us to lose, so that's just ridiculous. I don't have a loser's mentality, so I predict us to go 6-0 to close out the season. I would never predict us to lose a single game. I don't care who the hell we playing. That's just how I roll. But yeah, the division is tight. Vegas got some coaching changes over there. They brought Bouvette back. Why the hell they had them step away for a moment. I have no idea. I was shocked when I heard that.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe that's something they choose to keep in house for whatever reason. That's fine. But we'll see what they do now that he's coaching. But when they played Denver, their defense won them that game because their offense was kind of sputtering. They got to, but we'll see. Like I said, it's a long season. He's probably cleaning up the playbook, getting stuff out of there he didn't want. So it takes time. As you know, Ashley, anytime you got a new OC, it takes time to get the playbook the way you want it to be.
Mm-hmm.
And so we'll see what happens with them. And I will never count out Denver because even though he's not coaching anymore, I'm sure he got his hand over there and giving them tips and advice about what to do and what not to do. So we'll see. But my bet is on us. That's how I ride.
Gotcha. In the North, we got Baltimore leading 6-0, followed by Queen City 6-0. London 3-3, in Washington D.C. 2-4. So this is very interesting. I got got a Baltimoreite, and I have a Queen Cityite on here. So y'all happy with the current standings?
We're undefeated, so we're number one too.
See, yes, that's the thing. We both love the O.
Exactly. I mean, I don't see 1 and 2. I see 2 1s.
Yeah.
Okay.
We can our approach, I think Eddie said it earlier, is just worry about the team that we're facing in that current week. Yeah, it's no point in looking ahead. I know that if things stand pat, a game between Queen City is going to be very important because we only have one matchup this season. London was the team that was the second place team. So we faced London twice. We only faced Queen City once. So that's going to be very important in terms of the standings. And you never know what London and DC is going to do in the second half of this season. They got very, very good front office, very good players. They can turn around themselves. So it's not going to be an easy out for us between Queen City and Baltimore. We got to take care of our business if we want to stand pat and make the playoffs and not worry about looking behind us. So if again, just make small story short, we just got to focus on who we're facing this week.
Right. Yeah.
Not look ahead.
Same with us.
Is it my go?
We
Oh, my bad. Sorry. Go ahead. My bad.
No, that's okay. We're 6-0, but we still have Florida on our schedule. We still have DC twice on our schedule. We still have Baltimore on our schedule. We still have Charleston on our schedule. And then we play Carolina this week. There are no easy games anymore. With people getting their progressions in halfway through the season, getting animations, every team is a lot more difficult to play than they would have been week 2 or 3. So yeah, I'm with T-Roy. We take each game as it comes, and if we're both in the same spot, whether or not we've lost or whatever, when we play each other week 11, it's going to be a hell of a game, and then we can't go to sleep in week 12.
Nope.
Good point. Anybody else want to add to that?
To the North, why not? First of all, no disrespect to any other team in the league. Every team is competitive these days because we're gone are the days of the Cleveland Vipers where you knew you had a guaranteed win. But I don't know who in the hell, damn it. I don't know who in the hell not T-Roy, that T-Pat and TJ know at league headquarters. But for a team that just won a championship like 2 seasons ago, to get the schedule they got, come on, man, that was ridiculous. Man, I know when that schedule release show came out and they saw their schedule, sorry, I'm backing up out of here.
Mm-hmm.
And they saw that schedule, TJ and T-Pat probably gave each other a high five and said, yep, we don't have to change our playbook all week long, all season long. We going to the playoffs at 7-5 at worst. But it's all good though. I'm gonna have to talk with headquarters about that one because that's some BS. but
you gotta stop pissing off Cam.
Yeah, man, I gotta stop pissing off the wrong people.
Told you, man.
But yeah, come on, man. That schedule, man. Looking at y'all non-division games, man, give me a break, bro. But
We
it's all
almost
good.
lost a couple of those games. Those games were not easy. Portland was definitely not easy for sure.
Yeah, Portland's a good team.
No, I'm not saying no game is easy. Don't get it twisted. No game is easy, but some are easier than others, and I'll just leave it at that. But I'm going the right way. Yeah, okay, I'm good. But no, y'all division title. It looks like it's gonna come down to obviously between Queen City and Baltimore, and I can't wait. Where's that game at when y'all play each other? Where's that game at?
Isn't that Queen City? Oh, is that Baltimore?
It's in Baltimore.
Oh, it's still not going to be easy.
We got to go to Florida. We have to go to Baltimore.
Oh yeah, you got Florida too. Oh yeah,
we got Jacksonville in there.
Oh yeah,
hot.
We about to see how good of a coach Comisac really is over there. Okay,
Right.
That's what's up.
Yeah,
That's what's up.
it's we banked 6. I'm happy.
Yeah.
The second half is going to be a lot more tough.
Oh yeah, it isn't getting easy, man. People starting to progress and getting animations and all that's which is gonna get tougher.
Absolutely. All right, in the East, you have Atlanta being number 1 spot, 4-2. St. Louis at 3-3. Louisiana at 2-4. And Tulsa is at 2-4 in the East. So, what do you guys think about this?
Atlanta's number 1?
Yeah, Atlanta's number 1 right now.
Okay. Sorry,
Yeah,
Chris. I just need to ask that question.
No, I mean that's about right. I mean, Atlanta's been playing the best out of the 4 right now. I don't know that that's going to be the case by the end of the season. I think Atlanta's good, but Louisiana, if they can, they're a difficult 2-4 team to play. Tulsa was not an easy 2-4 team to play.
No.
Particularly at home. These teams are really tough at home. So, I could easily see those 2-4 teams making some noise, and they're only a game out. So, and who'd I miss?
St. Louis.
St. Louis. Yeah. See, I mean, St. Louis, they just took it to Mexico City. So that's probably going to be one of those divisions where we ain't going to know until week 12.
I agree.
Justin, what about you?
Yeah, I think this East division is going to be the dogfight to the end.
Got it. All right, Eddie, you want add something quickly?
Atlanta was fortunate that Streeter got hurt because as I'm telling how that game plays out, and I agree with whoever just said that about Louisiana. That's who would want to play that 2-4 team in the first round of playoffs.
Right.
Louisiana, they hit them, especially when they're playing at home. I mean, that team is tough, man.
Yeah.
And they've had some tough breaks. Streeter got hurt. And then they had another game where they were beating whoever it was they were playing, and then Tank Bennett, their best secondary player, maybe even Arthur, Evan Arthur is number 1. I don't know. They're kind of like a 1 and 1A to me. But he went down, and when he went down, I forget who it was they were playing, but the person who came in to take his place got attacked early and often, and they came back and gave up like 14 points in the fourth quarter to lose that game. So, Louisiana's tough, man. There's no telling what their win-loss record is had they not had those 2 injuries. But like whoever it was says, a long season and it's a lot of football left. So let's see.
Absolutely. In the Atlantic Division, you have Florida sitting at number 1, 4-2. Charleston at 3-3. Jacksonville at 2-4. Carolina at 2-4 as well. I will say I am surprised to see Jacksonville sitting at number 3. Normally it is either Florida and Jacksonville or Jacksonville and Florida. So I think that Jacksonville does have what it takes they have the components to get back into at least the 2nd seed, but it just depends on how if Marcus Dunhill is going to keep up go back to the seasons of old when he was, very reliable, get that ball out like he did this past week, If they can get back to that, then it'll be number 1 Florida and number 2 Jacksonville. But I am surprised that Charleston, under new management, is sitting number 2. Not saying they couldn't do it, But normally when you go under new management, sometimes you have that little what is it called? It's like that little bit of uncertainty because you don't know what the team is going to do because there's someone new over the playbooks. But yeah, I can easily see that happening.
Yeah, I think. Go ahead.
Oh, no, you go ahead, Chris. I'm sorry.
No, I think Florida is probably the best team out of the four right now. Jacksonville they're definitely building for the future. I mean, you could tell when they went to the draft what they picked.
Yeah,
there's definitely philosophy there where this season was. We don't need to necessarily make the playoffs this season. We're building a team to make the playoffs in future years. But one season of progression by the end of the season, they could be pretty darn tough too. The rest, they're all over the place. I'm not quite sure that they've figured things out yet at Charleston and Carolina, but the two Florida teams, they're starting to look pretty serious.
Yeah, exactly. It's like Florida is just going to probably maybe run away with it towards the end of the season, but and Jacksonville could catch up right behind them.
You never want to count out Frank Gooden. And, Jacksonville had a lot of turnover. They lost a lot of people in free agency. So that's what's hurting them in terms of their progression wise. So it seems to be a little bit far behind, but you can never count out Frank Gooden. And of course, Max Paul is Max Paul. So he's going to have his squad ready every season. You can, unfortunately, I hate to be disrespectful to any other teams. You can probably bet that the Storm is going to be the team leading. Hey, doggo. But you expect Florida to be the top dogs in their division basically year in, year out. But once, I think Marcus Dunhill, I'm not for sure because he took a season or two off. Maybe the progression wise, he probably got hurt a little bit with that. So once he gets back to his star self with the progressions, Florida's offense is going to be dangerous. And just get that running game going. Sorry, not Florida. Jacksonville's offense is going to be dangerous. Florida's offense is already dangerous. But I just want Dunhill's progressions get better and their newcomers' progressions get better. Jacksonville's going to be up there again.
Awesome. Eddie, did you want to add something before I move on to this last division?
As it was hinted on, Jacksonville lost a lot of players to retirement, and Frank also let a lot of those guys go because he wanted more team involvement. So kudos to him for having the courage to do so, knowing it would come at a price for the team's immediate future in terms of win-loss. But for a man who's been to the playoffs every season, I'm not even counting them out for this season just yet. Florida, as long as Mighty got his hand over there on that defense and he's helping out with the offense, I got them winning that division, hands down.
All right, then. Last but not least, Tex-Mex Division South. Mexico City is sitting at 4-2. Houston is at 3-3. Fort Worth is at 2-4, and Lone Star is at 2-4. I think that this is pretty much right. In my opinion, as far as how they can be ranked, I think Mexico City is probably the best one out of the bunch. Although every last one of these teams can show glimpses of brilliance depending on the games, depending on the team that they play. I think that this will be decided though towards the end of the season as to who takes home that first place position in the division for the South.
Yeah, because with the Mexico City transaction this week, it's like it could be this new two tight end system with their wide receivers. It's gonna be I'm thinking more of a Mexico City Houston, to the finish line.
Mm-hmm. I can see that.
Yeah,
Well, Chris, go ahead, baby.
Yeah, I don't know how many of these teams have actually played one another yet. So, I mean, the second half of the season could see a lot of these teams playing each other, and that, you just need one good game against some of these. I mean, Fort Worth plays Lone Star this week, so you get that win. It's a close, tight division. You've got the tiebreaker. So, I think the next Mexico City has been the best team so far through half the season, but they definitely stumbled. And some of these other teams might look at how they stumbled and figure something out, how to play Mexico City going forward. So I think it's still Mexico City's division to lose through the second half of the season, but I wouldn't count out the other three teams.
Got it. T-Roy, what about you?
I think the least talked about team in that division is Houston. I think Devon Simeon has a very good plan going on down there. And Dave Burr, if he continues that progression, he's going to be a better quarterback by season's end. I think Houston's the one team we don't want to face from that division. Not to disrespect the other three, but I think Damon's team is going to be very tough to game plan, especially since he got the running game going on. All he has to do is just minimize the mistakes of Burr. And once he does that, Houston is going to be the team you're going to say, oh, bleep, by the time this season's over with.
Okay. All right, I like that. Eddie?
Consistency. In that Tex-Mex division, there is only one team that returned that currently has all the coaches that they ended this previous season with, and that's Mexico City. Ramos over there doing his thing, has been for a long time. The man won a championship back in season 9, defeating Chicago. Houston, they lost, or they let go of Shan. Lone Star has a new coach in their organization, and so does Fort Worth lost a coach. So I don't know how much that may have tinkered with their chemistry and their, I don't know, the makeup of that team. I don't know, because I'm not in that locker room. Not my business, not my, concern. But so with all that said, I'm going Mexico City to win a division. But like T-Roy just said, man, dude, people counted out Houston a few seasons back. My last season there is the defensive coordinator. They went on to win 3 games straight, defeating 3 playoff teams to sneak into the playoffs and win a first round matchup. So I'm not going to count them out either. And if you can get Dave, I don't know where his progression is at now, but I know he had the lowest value of any quarterback in a draft, but yet got drafted. So if they can get him going along, I don't know where he's at. That could be a dangerous team too.
All right. Well, fellas, this was a fantastic conversation. I'm really glad that y'all took time out of your busy schedules to come and hang out with me, give your takes on everything. This is a dope show, and I hope to do this panel thing again. I think it's good to have different takes from different people, especially when you have Queen City and Baltimore, same division, sitting at 1 and 2, and be able to have that conversation and see where your heads are at. So this was dope. I really appreciate y'all for being here.
No, thanks for having us.
Yes, thank you for having us.
You're very welcome. You're very welcome. So before I let all of you go, I would like to give y'all the last word. So, Justin, any last words for the people?
Let's get these games on, and we'll see you in Vegas.
All right, sounds good. Sounds good. And Chris?
Just out to my crew at Queen City. Let's hoist the colors one more time.
All right then. T-Roy?
Yeah, shout out to my team, Baltimore. Shout out to everyone there. Thank you for your support, and thank you for following the game plan, having trust and faith in the game plan. First half is done, so let's get ready for the second half and hopefully make some noise.
All right then. And Eddie?
Shout out to my niece. Today is her birthday. She turned 25 today, and she changed the girl diapers, and now she tall as me, damn near. So
Happy
shout out to my
birthday.
niece. She won't
Happy
even hear this
birthday.
because she could kill us about the SFL, but she don't like sports at all. But happy birthday to her anyway. Shout out to my squad, yo. We lost 3 straight. It was tough, man. I was depressed. My anxiety was through the roof, but we found the way to get a win versus Sioux Falls, and I'm looking forward to get back on the winning track and keeping that going this weekend versus LA. Haven't had much time to scout yet. I'm sorry, to sim games yet because of everything going on, and I gotta spend some time with my niece this evening, celebrate her birthday with her. But hopefully late this evening I can kick off some simming and get ready for LA and try to find a way to contain Robert Johnson responsibly while not ignoring their run game. That's all I got.
All right. Thank y'all so much again for being on. Each one of you have a spot on the show. If you ever want to come back, please do so. Jacob, Bouvette, thank you so much for being on. I really appreciate your time too. Again, guys, I'm looking forward to bringing you another great podcast next week. But until then, stay safe, treat each other well. Justin, T. Roy, Chris, Eddie, and Striker out.